Hey, good morning, everybody. First off, I've said this recently. It is a stock picker's market. So please, this morning, I'm going to talk about a bunch of stocks later. I'm going to go down through my watch list, maybe the first 20 stocks. I'm going to tell you possibilities on the high side, possibilities on the low side. But understand, first and foremost, everybody is waiting on their patiently sitting on their hands, waiting for the Fed to come out with their decision tomorrow. Understanding that it's about 72% based into the Fed swaps rate that they raise a quarter basis point. So everybody has that baked into the market. Now, people like Bill Ackerman, people like myself, think that there's a financial crisis going on with all of these regional banks having issues, all of these banks throughout Europe having liquidity issues. So the point is, I don't think they should raise 25 basis points. Here's the scenarios: they raise 50 basis points tomorrow, the market drops 3.5%. They raise 25 basis points. I still think we're due for possible consolidation. I think the market might rip higher and then consolidate back to the same level that we start at 2 p.m. tomorrow before the Fed makes their announcement. Again, so if it rips higher, you don't have to chase. It's going to come back to you. Now, they say zero rate hike tomorrow. The Fed comes out and then Powell comes out at 2:30 and explains why, that they want to stabilize the financial markets, et cetera, et cetera. The markets are going to rip higher. So let's remember on Friday when I said screenshot my prediction that on Monday, meaning yesterday, we see 394, possibly 395. Well, it was there. We saw 394 yesterday morning, understanding we closed Friday at 389 and change. Okay, so hell of a prediction. Why? Because Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of last week, there was market inflow. People were buying into the market. People were buying the dips. On Thursday alone, I think we saw $8.3 billion come into our markets. So, what else do I look at? Well, the 2-year rate, the 10-year rate going down, the US dollar going down. Well, shit, those are good things for our market. So when I say we're going to hit consolidation on Friday, possibly it'll carry over till Monday morning, and then the markets will likely go higher. Yes, I guess I was a little early, or should have gave myself one more day to be correct. So let's remember, my call options in the SPY expired on when? Wednesday the 22nd. So more than enough time. But we're not going to talk about that. We're talking about a stock picker's market. So what did I invest in yesterday? I mentioned I got this small account. It was $100, $120 ending last week. I was looking to grow it and double it. Well, that's already done. I've already doubled it. We're at $200. I'm looking to grow it to $400 by the end of the week. So what did I go into yesterday? A little risky. And I didn't go in with 2 feet at first, but I went into KRE, regional bank calls. Why? Regional banks beat up the Fed, the government. They're talking about securing all non-insured depositors throughout their lifetime of their deposits. And then I heard other people saying, well, $1 million would be enough. Well, it doesn't even matter. It's about shoring up these smaller banks. So again, larger institutions got rocked 15% in the last 4 trading days. Smaller banks, we've seen them rip lower 70, 50, 80%. I've mentioned a few. So yeah, I'm looking for a freaking bounce there. What am I going to do today? So here's the strategy. Every day I tell myself, well, you're going to wait until at least 10:30 to get out of these options. And then I sell and I claim victory at like 9:46. I'm like, hey, did you guys see that spike? I got out. And what happens by 10:30? The spike goes even higher. So understand, I've told myself this morning, it's okay. Hold your position. You have till Friday, till expiration. The Fed is not speaking until Wednesday, 2 p.m. So if the market is going to rip lower, well, it's going to rip lower. No, let's talk about the scenarios. Okay, bull case scenario. SPY right now sitting at what? 396.70 pre-market. Okay, so it's sitting at 396.70. Let's just share that with everybody. What's the possibilities? Okay, so I say to myself, what would make sense? We're having the Fed speak tomorrow. We're talking about 25 basis point increase or zero. I'm thinking a 7-point range. So I'm going to give you the bull case scenario. 7-point range, 6.5-point range. On the downside, we're going to see somewhere around yesterday's high will be today's low. So I'm going to say 394 on the downside. Bull case scenario. On the way up, we're going to see 401. So there's your 7-point range. 394 on the downside, 701 on the upside, 7-point range, maybe 6.5. Maybe it doesn't go all the way to 394 flat, or maybe it doesn't go to 401 flat. It goes to 450 cents. But a 6.5, 7-point range. There's your bull case scenario. Okay. Your bull case scenario, you're holding calls, you're holding bullish options. I'm not selling them until I see 400 or 401 if I think we're having a green day in the market. Bear case scenario. Well, we're already sitting at 396.70. Market has to go down, right? Bear case scenario. Yes, but not yet because I expect the market to rip higher at open. So even in a bear case scenario, I think we're going 399. Reject that 399 level, and then we're going back to 393, 392.80. That's your bear case scenario. That's 6.5 points, right? 399, 392.80, let's say. So that's 6 points and 20 cents. Now, why could that possibly happen? It could happen because people are nervous and there's going to be light volume. I mentioned this one to Discord yesterday. I mentioned light volume. Yes, we closed the day at 91 million on the SPY, but lately we've been seeing 120 to 150 to 160 million on the SPY. So yesterday was a light day. Following inside day on Friday. Yesterday was an inside day. What does that mean? It's like my volcano effect. It means things are building up. Meanwhile, it's going to erupt going higher, or it's going to just pour lava down going lower. So I'm preparing myself for both cases. I'm not going to trade with emotion. I'm going to look to secure profit today on my latest trade. What other trade did I mention on Discord? Upstart. Upstart was at $14. I'm like, I'm getting involved with Upstart calls. Why? Beating up stock. I had interest at a higher amount. I waited, showed patience. Now, as soon as I went into those Upstart calls, what happened? Of course, it dropped another 8 cents. It went under $14, went to like $13.92. So if anybody was looking to get in better than Matt, well, shit, they did. On KRE, if anybody was looking to get in better than Matt, oh, shit, they probably did. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to like take the bullet for you guys. I'll tell you what I'm getting into, how I ease into the positions, how I scale in, how I add contracts, when I sell and take profit, if I'm scaling out, if I'm holding to a certain time or date. All right. So with that said, let's see what other interesting topics we have. You know what? Let's skip the interesting topics. Let's go into more important shit. Let's talk about individual stocks. If you have any questions about individual stocks, please ask them on the side. And if you're asking a question after you ask the question, how about a thumbs up that you like the video? Because I'm going to answer your freaking question. Remember, YouTube, it's all analytics. So the more thumbs up, the more questions, the more interaction, the more they'll share my video with somebody else, and other people in your same situation can learn. Because remember, I spoke about the keys yesterday. If you missed yesterday's video, go back and watch it. But there are like 7 or 8 things to help you with options trading. And I think I started the video out that way. So the first thing I have at all the top is I have all the components of my KRE options. Why? Because I'm trading a small account and I don't want to be caught off guard. If KRE is going to drop or it's going to spike and I'm going to look to get out, I want to make sure that I'm doing it at the right time. So I've got the financials, XLF. Why? Because banks are stable. That's at the top. Then I have First Republic, Western Alliance, Webster, Truist, Keyback, Zions, USB, or UBS, sorry. So those are my first 5. Why? Because I'm going to track what my KRE is going to do. Again, it's up 4.5% pre-market. So my entry was 43.50. It spiked after I entered, and then it went back down. It closed at 43.56. This morning, 45.55, up 4.5% right now. So it's up $2. Guess whose option contracts are going to be up 100% today? Who's going to take that $200 and sell it for $400 and then work on doubling it again for my next trade? This guy right here. Okay, so those are the starts, but those aren't with the stocks when I'm like, it's a stock picker's market. I'm not telling you guys to get involved with regional banks. It was a risky trade, but I was calling the bottom and I'm looking for that bounce. And I might even hold later in the week if they look strong today. And if the markets, I will sell before the Fed speaks tomorrow afternoon. There's no doubt I don't want to chance it. All right. After that, I've got Upstart. Why? Because I saw some interesting stuff on Upstart at $14. Again, I mentioned it to Discord. It went down to $13.96 this morning pre-market, $14.50. Hella green I'm going to be this morning with Upstart, and that's for my larger account. Then what other stocks do I have? US Steel. I mentioned it when they had earnings, and it spiked all the way to $25.50. I said, wait, fade those earnings. US Steel is going to come down. There will be a better entry. Well, there was a better entry yesterday. It went to $24.75. This morning, it's back up 75 cents from that point. It's up 2.81% at $25.61. So, yeah, I think those are going higher. US Steel. I've got FedEx on there. Why? Because I said fade FedEx when it went to 227. It's at 216 now. I wouldn't be jumping in there. I've got Coinbase. Not that I like to invest in Coinbase, but it was my tracker yesterday, and it will continue to be my NASDAQ tracker. Then I have two options that we played recently, DraftKings and Carvana. I was looking at those for support yesterday. No, if the market gets ugly and throws up on itself, those aren't two stocks that I say will have support, even in the case of an ugly market, which last week was the case. Then I have Boyle. Boyle, I said, could go lower. Somebody on the platform asked me, hey, Boyle's at $4.30. Higher, it's going higher, and it spiked to 440, and now it dropped to 424. So I said, you could wait on natural gas. You could still wait on natural gas. UVXY, who knows? I love UVXY. Again, there's no play there for me today. It's already off 6% pre-market. I've got energy on here. Why? Because I'm going to watch energy. If we're not going into recession, and here the recession vote is out, they now predict recession will start in September of this year, and it will last approximately 8 months. Who's predicting this shit? I have no clue, but I saw it on CNBC. So somebody's predicting this shit. Again, recession to start in September. I guess they put it on their calendar, and it's going to last exactly 8 months. We know that's never correct. It's usually earlier or later. We are heading into a minor recession, minor versus major. No clue what the fuck that means. It means we're heading into recession either way. Okay, so XLE, I'm looking for it to cross $80. Pinterest. Shit, I mentioned Pinterest last Monday at $23.44. I said my exit would be $25.70. A few days later, it went to $26.50. Pinterest gave up some earnings yesterday. Low is $25.78. This morning, it's at $27. It's up 1% this morning. The low yesterday was $25.78. So back in the $25.70 range. $25.70, which used to be a rejection, has now turned into support in Pinterest. So again, if it weren't for the Fed speaking tomorrow, all of these stocks that I'm bullish on, I would still be bullish. However, if the Fed says something people don't like, market will go down. So again, Pinterest on my list. Okay, Baidu yesterday morning. I thought we were at $150. I'm like, this thing can go up to $155. It did. Oh, it did. It went all the way to $155.30. And then I said it would likely fade. We closed back at $150. So again, I'm not a big fan of China. But with all things being consistent, Baidu is at 155. It's at 151 this morning. It is probably heading back up to 155, 156, 157. Remember, I like Baidu at $132, $133, anything under 135. When it spiked to 148, I said, wait for it to come down. It came down from 148. It went to 128, and now it's back at 151. So you got to pick your times to enter. That's Baidu. Alibaba, I'll stay away. Salesforce, CRM. Yeah, I think Salesforce is going higher. Again, yesterday, I almost got involved at $182.70. I would have been catching the falling knife because Salesforce is dropping. I'm like, I'm going to buy. Would have been a great decision because it closed at 185. It's up to almost 187 pre-market, 186 and change. Again, Salesforce is probably going to go to that $200 level unless the market throws up on itself. If we're in this small bull run and we see the SPY pushing 404, 406, 408, 410 over the next 2-3 weeks, you can guarantee that Salesforce will be at $200 a share. Oh, Meta. Meta's going up. Meta, I relate to Snap and Pinterest and all that. Meta's cutting costs more. They just upped their target on Meta from 190. Well, shit, Meta's already at like, what, 204? From 190 to 250. So Meta is at 204. Let's see where it is this morning. Here's Meta. It's up 2.5%. We're at 202.80 right now. Okay. Do I think Meta's going to explode today? It'll probably explode and then contract a little. Let's get to some questions here. Let's see. Good morning. Not really a question. Hey, I'm looking into DWAC calls on the daily, weekly. Look good. Okay. I haven't followed DWAC, but we all know Donald Trump's going to get arrested today, and he's calling for protests, and DWAC is part of his social truth network. So I haven't looked at the stock. Why? Because it didn't have major volume, and it's based on, to me, bullshit. Any stock that can swing like this off very little volume, I don't want to be involved with. I'll look at the 5-day for you. Yes, it spiked yesterday because he said he was going to get arrested and he's calling for protests. But if you look at the volume, even when it was going, had inflow past a couple of days before yesterday, again, it was going down. So I'm going to stay away from DWAC. If you follow it and that's one of your stocks that you made family, let's remember my lesson. Make a stock like family. That way you know its ranges. You know if it's going up. You know if it sees positive inflow, where it could go to. So some people made Wynn Casino. Some people made Carnival. Some people made, whatever it is. All right. Hey, Matt, can I look at AMD? Okay, we can try. How would I look at AMD? Well, let's share the screen. And let's go to Discord because Discord's going to tell me a whole bunch about AMD. So let's make sure I'm sharing this. Boom, let's add it. What do I got on Discord right now? Oh, yeah, my bull case scenario and bear case scenario. We had an inside day the last 2 days. We had very low volume yesterday, so I expected a big move. Well, shit, we're seeing the big move this morning. Bear case scenario, here we go, 399 on a high, 393 on a low, 395 on a low. Okay, let's get to AMD. That's what I promised you, right? You were asking about AMD. So let's go down and let's see what kind of net flows we have for AMD. So let's check out the net flow for AMD. Let's check out the algo flow for AMD. And then let's check out the dark pool levels, right? DP levels for AMD. So I'll type all these three in and I'll see where we end up. Okay, so first I'm going to look at AMG, see where we are this morning. What are we at? $4 and what? Oh, AMD? Did you say AMD or AMC? You probably said, oh, AMD. Did I type in AMD? I did. Thank goodness. For some reason, I thought you said AMC, or I was looking for that. So the first thing I do is I'm going to look at the 1 month on AMD. Now, what do I see? I see 6 straight green inflow days where we can see that dip all the way to the spike and a little consolidation yesterday after it hit what, 90, almost $97. But we basically closed at $97 and it's over $97 this morning. So AMD is not one to fight. If the market goes up, if we see the market continue to strengthen and you see 400-1 on the SPY, which is still another 1% higher, then yes, AMD is going to be up 2.5% from where it is right now. So 97.41. I'll tell you it right now. This is how I make my prediction. I say 2.5%. I go 97.41 times 1025. And I'll tell you, AMD is going to be pressing 99.84. So there's my prediction for AMD. When I figure out and I put in these guesses, I make estimations. Shit, if the market goes up 1%, AMD is going to lead the market. It'll be up 2.5%. If AMD is up 2.5% from where it is right now, pre-market, then we're going to be closing in for 100. So that's what I would be looking for on AMD. Now, if I'm going to go back to Discord and I'm going to say, okay, puts are still pretty high, calls are still pretty low, I would expect that to somewhat even out and meet in the middle. So I'll be tracking this during the day if I was in AMD. If it doesn't meet in the middle, then yeah, AMD is likely to come down. You're looking at the algo flow versus stock price. So here we go. I mean, algo flow stock price is big deviation, right? So again, you'd expect them to meet in the middle. So I'm going to be watching that carefully if I was in AMD. Now I'm going to look at the dark pool levels. Again, AMD, where are we pre-market, I said? Let's just check it again. 97.31. So 97.62 appears to be the next dark pool level here. So I'm going to watch this level right here. If we break through, then I'm going to say, yeah, 99's in the future. And I still think 99's in the future, which I said already, up 2.5% today. If I'm looking for support, meaning if the market drops, then I'm looking for support right here at 95.41, plus or minus 20 cents. So if I want to get into AMD calls and the market looks like it's dropping and I'm like, hey, they're going to buy the dip, then I'm going to look for like $95.21, $95.40, something like that. So what else we got? Tracy Davis. Hey, Matt, watching all the info on Apple puts, see all in Discord. Yeah, so before you make a decision like that, you're going to definitely get into Apple puts. Let me tell you, if the market rips higher and then the Fed comes out tomorrow and they say 0 basis point increase, the market's going to rip higher, including Apple. Apple's going to be leading the way. So again, you want to be very careful when you're trading Apple, when you're trading Tesla, when you're trading the SPY. Understand entry is so important because the SPY can drop or spike and your positions could be changed by like 30-40% either to the profit side or the negative side, the decline side. So let's see. What do we got? So you gave those SPY bull bear case for tomorrow or today. So for today, let's talk about it again. Bear case. Okay, bear case. We're sitting at 396 and change. We're going to spike up to 399 first before we sell off. And when we do sell off, it'll go down to 393. So there you go. Bear case. 399 going down to 393. Bull case, okay? Bull case is, yeah, we drop, we find some consolidation, maybe at like the 396 level, and we spike from 396 all the way up to 401, 400. So that's kind of what I'm thinking a bull case. I'm thinking 401, 400. What else? Hey, good morning, Mike. Can we check out the flow in Apple and Tesla? Well, you could call me Mike, but that's not my name. But yeah, we could check out the flow in Apple and Tesla. Why not? So let's go back to Discord. Let me just get over there with you. Let's check out the flow. I wonder if we can see the net flow, if that's out yet. Not the net flow, the flow sum for Tesla. Is it out yet? Might be. No, not enough information. All right, so I'll check out the net flow for Tesla, and then I'll check out the net flow for Apple. And I'll tell you what else I would check out. So the net flow for Tesla is still bullish. However, the bears, the price on puts hasn't really given up. The price is kind of stabilizing. So if the market turns green, yeah, I'm going to look for Tesla to rip probably higher than this. I would expect. Well, you'd have to look at the dark pool level for Tesla to see where it might be a rejection level. So let's check out the dark pool levels for Tesla. Because again, it's probably up 2.5% pre-market. So if I was to look at Tesla right now, let's just see where Tesla is. Tesla is up pre-market 2.16%. So 187. So 187, again, you don't want to chase and get in there, but we'll say if it's a green day, the dark pool level is not working. Let's try it one more time. DP levels for Tesla. If not, we'll have to go back to Apple. Okay, here we go. So again, we're 187 pre-market. The dark pool levels are getting smaller and smaller. So you got 185 as support. So yeah, if I'm going to look for it rejecting, I'm going to look at 190 and 20 cents. So all the way from 190 flat all the way to 190.50. If it breaks 190, you see 191. There's no doubt it's going to 195. So again, you should have different inflection points. You say to yourself, I'm looking at 190 and change to reject. If it goes to 199, I know to hold, and it's going to 195. Apple, I'm going to pass on this morning because we have a lot more questions. What is this? Any thoughts on the energy sector plays with several firms calling for over 100 again? Yeah, I heard the same shit. So here's what I was talking about earlier. I say if we're going into recession, then yeah, I mean, energy is not going to be great. If we're not going into recession for another 6 months and they say September is going to start the recession, which means people aren't going to really start talking about it till June or July. Yeah, the energy sector is going to rip higher. That's why I originally got involved with Boyle. Got in, got out, secured profit. I got in the XLE, and then I was hesitant about the XLE because people were talking about banks failing. Now, here's the catch. For these regional banks, they're going to stop loaning out so much money. So it will have an effect on the economy, and it will drive us into recession. So these banks will drive us into recession. This is not happening overnight based on these deposit concerns. So that was my theory there. Again, it's going to take a while for banking stocks, and it'll fluctuate. I won't be doing that. Are you waiting till after the Fed speaks for entry tomorrow, or why? I don't know. To be honest, I will share it with Discord. But right now, if I was going to say, I'm going to hold on to my small account options. I'm going to hold on to my upstart options. I'm going to hope to get max value either today, but I would be okay holding until tomorrow morning if I see the right patterns and see the right volume. However, there's no doubt on whatever spike, either late afternoon or tomorrow morning, I'm going to be getting out of my positions because I don't want to hold through Wednesday. In fact, I might take Wednesday morning off, wait for the Fed to speak. I can tell you what's going to happen when the Fed speaks. When the Fed speaks and they announce 25 basis points, the market's going to drop. Then it's going to rip higher. Then it's going to drop. Then it's going to rip higher. So, I mean, I might just trade on Wednesday, take max profit today, wait till Wednesday, enter in contracts maybe sometime at like 11:30, 12 o'clock, 12:30 on Wednesday. And I'll talk about this tomorrow morning, but I'm going to set my ask. So as soon as the Fed makes their announcement at 2 p.m. and then we got Powell at 2:30 and we see that spike, drop, spike, drop, spike, drop, I'm going to be out of my contracts. On that spike, if I'm holding calls, I'm out. On the drop, when I'm holding puts, I'm out. For anybody to hold through that craziness is exactly that. It'll be crazy. So my opinion on Caterpillar, I haven't really looked at Caterpillar in a long time. Why? It's an expensive stock. Yeah, I mean, it easily could do either or. I'm just looking here. It looks like it's poised to rebound, but then the volume on the 2 selling days was pretty strong. So it's going to follow market direction. So again, I want to go with a leader, not a follower. I want to go with something where if the market goes higher, it's leading the market higher. And right now, I believe I'm in there with KRE, the ETF for the regional banks. Why? Because they're going to recover fast. I mean, right here. Jelson, your FRC, so First Republic, yeah, what's it up, like 18% this morning? Let's just see where First Republic is. Again, it's one of my trackers. Oh, it's up 25%. 25% this morning. Now, would I be buying First Republic? Hell no. But at $12, yes. What would my exit be? $18. It's only at $15 now. So my 18 would be exit, even though it was 21 yesterday. Why? Because I'm not looking to call the absolute top and absolute bottom. But there are other stocks like this. You have Charles Schwab. You have Western Alliance. You've got Webster Financial. Wouldn't be there. Truist is my bank, the bank that I personally use. And I actually like Truist as a bank. So it's there. Zions Bank Corp, Key Bank Corp. Again, I'm not going to invest in any individual bank. Credit Suisse. That's the whole reason I went with the ETF. And I will be out of the ETF. If I'm not out today, I will be out tomorrow, definitely before 11 a.m. in the morning. So I'm looking to secure profit. So anybody watching, don't say like, hey, shit, this guy's talking about regional banks. I'm going in there. Then they spike today. You're looking green. Yes, tomorrow they drop and you're looking red and you're blaming me because I'm looking to secure profit with any trades that I go into on Discord. Again, it would be great if I had 1,000% runner, but I'm a base hit guy. I understand that compounding your interest. If I make 20% here, 30% here, 60% here, it compounds and it adds up to over 100. Then when you're making the small piles, you're adding them on top. I'm going from 1 to 2 contracts to 2 to 4 contracts. I'm going to be up more. So again, I'll be posting. That's all I'm trading this week is that smaller account. I was taking $100 to 120. Then it went from 120 to 220 from yesterday, 220. It went back to 189. So I actually lost about $30 yesterday, whereas I should have crushed yesterday. However, I can't help it. We'll go from here. KRE is up 4.75%, 4.8%. So yeah, I mean, it's telling me that I want to hold until I get whatever pop I'm getting this morning. Maybe it pops to 46. Maybe it pops to 46 and a half. Not really sure. Again, FRC more risky. And then when you have, what's his name? Jim Cramer open his mouth about FRC. I mean, it's the opposite effect. I mean, everything he says is just like, people think it's crazy. You're welcome, of course. Is Boyle still play? It is in play. However, same thing I mentioned to the gentleman on Discord that asked me in trading chat when it was $4.34 yesterday. Hey, is it a good time to get in? I said, if you get in at $4.34, you better buy out 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 1 month, 2 months. Give yourself enough time to be correct because there still could be downside. And again, when I look at Boyle this morning, which is natural gas, let me just see Boyle. 424 closed it's at 399. So do I think the worst is over? It being at 399. Shit. I mean, it looks damn attractive. But again, do I think pre-market at 399 is going to be the lowest on the day? No. It's probably going to drop at some point during the day. I would say if I had to make a prediction, 381. I don't want to say the 379. I want to say 381, 382. Yeah, I might be looking for a play. But if I'm going to play Boyle, I'm going to go out 1 or 2 months. If not, it is damn too risky because you're basing a lot on natural gas. Now, natural gas is great when we have like a storm ripping through the country and everybody's losing power and it's getting to be frozen out and everything like that. Then yeah, people don't understand that, but natural gas is a decent play there. So yeah, it's okay. Yeah, God bless me and thank you. So if you guys really want to bless me, how about thumbs up? How about making comments when we post this video? When I get back into bank calls, I don't chase into bank calls. So again, if I'm looking at smaller regional banks, I'm not suggesting to anybody they chase KRE. If you're on Discord, then you picked a perfect entry with me yesterday. I know Romeo, like the financials, the XLF, they're up 2.28%. Here's your morning run for them. And if we go back 5 days, I mean, you're going to see 5 days. We're already at the point that we were at 5 days ago. So if you're looking at banks and shit like that, you really wanted to go in right around here. If I go out a month, we'll see. Now it looks even more attractive. It looks a little better, right? So you're going out a month. You're like, okay, I could still make a run. Yes, but for me, when I miss that first run, which gives me some cushion on my investment, then, Bruce Willis. Yeah, I heard that. I heard John Travolta once or twice too. How often do you use those graphs on Discord updates refresh? I go through them during the day. If I'm going to enter or exit any position, I'm using Discord. If I'm in Apple, I want to look at the net flow, the algo flow, the flow sum, and then I want to look at a couple more angles, including the dark pool level. For whatever stock I'm in Meta. Yeah, I want to do the same thing. Yes, Meta looks bullish. So where could it possibly reject? Well, I want to look at the dark pool levels. I want to look at the flow sum. I want to make sure big money continue to buy calls. Just because they bought calls on Friday or Monday doesn't mean they're going to continue that today. Now, if we want to talk about calls and puts on the entire market, right now, the puts haven't given up. People that were in puts haven't given up. In fact, they've doubled down. They've added more puts. Now, with that said, the market going up, people that were in calls, they haven't taken profit yet. They've been adding more calls. So everybody's adding and adding and adding. And we're having an inside day on Friday, which means narrow range. Inside day on Monday, which means narrow range. When you have a narrow range, it means volcano effect, meaning it's either going to erupt higher and we're going to break 401. Then the Fed's going to come out tomorrow and the markets are going to like what the Fed says. And we're going to see 407, 408, 409. Or the markets are just going to explode in the downward cycle. I don't want to be in anything before the Fed speaks unless I'm getting out right as the Fed comes out. With that said, it's 30 minutes. It's up. I'm heading over to Discord. Morning video mentions some stocks. Remember, it's a stock pickers market. So if you guys want to ask me on the side about different stocks that you're thinking of, I will look at them. I'll answer. Remember, we used to play that game, buy, sell, hold. You guys would throw out a stock or an options position. I'd be like, someone gifted me that options position or that stock position. Would I continue to hold it or would I sell it? That's a great freaking game. You're in options, Apple puts expiring 2 weeks out. They're 151 strike. Buy, sell, or hold. That's a great question. Let's try it tomorrow. Everybody have a great day. Fed speaking tomorrow. And I'm headed over